With New World making even more updates to their game, and with so many players choosing to return to the game after stepping away with the great games rush of early 2022, I wanted to try and answer this question for you because I see it asked consistently in my comment section and consistently on Reddit and other online areas. Should you return to New World? And what I've done here in this video is I'm going to give you 7 reasons why you should return, and perhaps 3 reasons why you want to go ahead and wait and stay away for the time being, and hopefully give you the best information possible so you can make the best decision possible when choosing where to spend your game time. Now, hello everyone, and welcome to Ginger Prime. My name is Brian if you're new around here, and if you actually enjoy New World specific content, I've actually created a brand new channel focused 100% on New World. This is guides, news, deep dives, and even little videos to kind of help ease you back into the world of Eternum. Link will be pinned in the comment section if you're interested to check out the channel. I hope you do. And obviously at the time of this recording, I just did a deep dive on the luck system for the game, so I hope you check that out and you enjoy that video. But here we are, we're going to dive into the 7 reasons why you should return to New World and the 3 reasons why you should stay away. I'll have this chaptered in the YouTube playhead below, so you can easily jump to whatever option that you ultimately want to see the most. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Thanks for being here, and I hope this is a fun video for your YouTube feed today. Let's go ahead and dive in. First and foremost, number 1, the roadmap. The roadmap shows us a lot of content, and New World is actually still what I call an investment game. Your time pays out. Where you spend your time today is going to benefit you in the future because there is a player-driven economy. So even if you're just kind of playing and making money, here in 2 months and in 6 months, you're going to end up obviously having resources that you otherwise wouldn't. So spending your time in the game now actually is going to pay out for you much easier and much quicker down the road. And so from the roadmap, we see right now your ability to jump into content from the main menu. What this means is that with wars, with invasions, with outpost rush, with the new 3v3 PvP arenas, I really struggled with that one. I've edited out all the ridiculousness. Maybe I'll put it at the end of this video. With the new 3v3 PvP arenas, oh my gosh, like that's going to be something that is really exciting that I'm personally excited about, but that's also going to be easy to jump into. We're getting new zones. We're getting the Great Sword. We're getting so much more in this game, especially over the next 6 months. It's going to be a really exciting time to jump in. And so just that fact that they've communicated that takes me to option number 2, reason number 2 to return. AGS continues to communicate. They continue to listen to feedback. They continue to respond. I think this is absolutely critical to an MMORPG. Now, you might not have the piece of content that you specifically want, but the devs are working hard and it shows. And that takes me right into number 3. When we talk about what are they changing? What are they listening to? One of the things I get asked about all the time: fast travel, quality of life updates. What's going on with this game? I was really frustrated when X happened, Brian. Have they fixed X? So if fast travel and quality of life was kind of the big reasons why you actually stepped away from this game, I'm happy to report they've pretty much solved this issue completely. Fast travel at the most that I've seen it cost 20 Azoth. Now you're like, okay, Azoth, that was a bad system. They even admit that. I wonder if that at some point will completely evolve, but Azoth pretty much is unlimited. I'm constantly at cap because even if I do spend 20 on a teleport, I typically get that back from killing 1 or 2 enemies fairly quickly. It is pretty absurd overall. So they've also added in lots of different shrines, more teleports. So overall, they have made it easy to get around this world, especially if you've already been there, you've already explored it. Not only that, they've lowered the amount of time it takes to return to your end. Typically that was in an hour, now it's at 30 minutes, and even more quality of life is coming with future updates. So at its core, it is so easy to get around the world, especially once you've explored it. So this has actually been a huge relief. There is no weight cost. There is no distance cost. It's actually even cheaper if your faction controls the zone itself. And you can still use Azoth to reset your housing timer. So even if you only have 1 house like me currently in the game, it's so easy to get to wherever you need to go. I can actually go out into the world, experience what I want to experience, teleport back to anywhere I want to go, and jump easily into the next bit of content. So it's removed a lot of these barriers, so a lot of this friction, and there's even more quality of life stuff that is coming with the March and April updates as well. So overall, like, this is actually, I think, a real a huge help. And if you were frustrated by being Azoth capped, you won't be. Like, I actually started the entire February update with 50 Azoth. I've been sitting at 1,000 for the entire month, and I'm actively playing all the time. And I still even have Azoth vials. So when it comes down to, let's say you burn all of it through crafting, well, guess what? Like, the market is super cheap on the Azoth vials because they're no longer as in demand, but they still drop just as often. So the price has really fallen. So you can easily replenish yourself if you end up using it on crafting and then you feel like you're going to teleport. But I have yet to run into that situation because Azoth is so plentiful in the game. So number 4. The game is still in development. This is something really exciting to me. This is actually, I would actually put this as my number 1, but the game is still in development. That means your feedback directly impacts the game. This ties into number 2, again, with AGS continuing to communicate and listen to said feedback. They've shown they're doing this with the updates themselves, with their monthly updates where they sit down, answer questions from the community, talk about what is coming. And I think essentially that is something I value very heavily. I like having an impact on these games. These games are games that I spend a lot of time in, not just in terms of playtime each and every week, but a lot of investment time, meaning years over years over years. So I always kind of believe that the fact that they're listening, that they're implementing these changes is a real positive aspect, and it can help make the game better. And I like being a part of that. I like having that. And so this is kind of my number 1, but overall, this is just something I want to communicate to you as a reason why you should return, because you could actually have a real positive impact on the game and its direction. Now that takes me into number 5, the Blunderbuss. If you guys haven't had the chance to see my Blunderbuss videos, I guarantee you this is such a fun weapon. It's going to really change up the game. And the fact that we know that we're getting the Great Sword this fall, all in all, the weapons that they're implementing, even the ones that we've been told about or it's been whispered about, the Blunderbuss is fun. I think we're going to see here what ultimately changes with Musket in relation to the Blunderbuss, because the other thing about this, we talked about quality of life, ammo is no longer required. Ammo is going to only act as a damage, increase, as opposed to, like, if you're out of ammo, you can't use the weapon. So you have unlimited ammo for the Blunderbuss and even for the musket. So this is going to be a huge help, I think, also for obviously archers out there. So note that you'll be able to continue to put out damage, and the reason why you would take ammo is for increased damage. So personally speaking, I like that aspect. I like when ammo means something, because it gives you the ability to have systems in place that ammo can have an impact on your damage type, various different modifiers, as opposed to just making it always unlimited. So I hope they stick with this model, but I'm glad to see that kind of quality of life change, so you're not penalized overall by necessarily running out. Plus also ammo and all that stacks to 1,000 now, and it has no weight. So ultimately quality life friction is going down in terms of the ranged play. Then essentially number 6, this is a real positive sign of health for an MMO. We continue to see new players and returning players each and every week. One thing that the numbers won't actually currently show you is about your concurrence is how many players are starting fresh or returning. And from what we've seen online, even on our own server, they're growing. Speaking of which, if you want to join us, and you're more than welcome to, check out the Discord link in the description for more information, and that's going to help you get into this game, especially if you run into walls. Now, we talk about like walls in this game a little bit, and I'm going to highlight it here as a part of these signs of health. You have the orb system for the dungeons. That's going away, and the orbs are going to only actually apply as bonus loot. So you can still go run dungeons and do that. They're also adding in a kind of a party finder or something of that nature. We haven't yet seen full details about what that is, but that's coming here in the near future. And when it comes down to it, especially like if you're looking for people to play with that are pretty chill, I believe, we like to help people get through any of the content they might be stuck on. But overall, the MSQ, the main story that takes you through the game, will no longer require, at some point here in the near future, you to actually go into these dungeons and actually have to team up with players. So if that was something that was a friction for you, that's going to be eased up here in a little bit. But these aren't just my words. I want to highlight for you now what other people are saying. Now, we got this post here by Lord Edge. Lord Gidi here, if I could read if I could read correctly, saying, I quit at level 32 and a few changes that AGS did in the game while I was away, mainly lower the Azoth cost, more XP from side quests and more shrines, made leveling up so much more pleasant. I did Starstone Barrows for the first time and I didn't expect the dungeon to be that beautiful. I'm now level 41 and I can't wait for the March update. It seems like everyone on my server, Lilliput, is level 60, so it's hard to find groups for lower expeditions. When I do find people, I get carried to the end, which is no fun. The economy in my server also seems tuned for endgame players, but I hope the update brings back more level 30s and 40s. So there's still work to be done, and this is just one example of what we're seeing online. The other thing we're also seeing, less downvotes whenever you bring up New World. I think that's also a very good sign of health, as it tends to be that the kind of the hate mongers, or even if you want to consider them that, those who are frustrated or angry about the game, their tempers are cooling and it becomes a little bit more free to discuss the game in positive and negative lights, which I think is a real good sign overall for gaming. So this now brings us to number 7. The game is just fun. We often remark while we're playing how actually relaxing it is to play this game, because there isn't a massive amount of pressure to do our quote-unquote chores in game before we can actually get to the fun of the game. We're finding ourselves often hanging out in chat or chatting just in game and discovering the fun over being told what we have to do, various things, otherwise that we'll fall behind or miss out on the potential amount of fun. It's been a great time to be playing New World, and as people come back into the game, one of the things I've really been enjoying is seeing people return and finding out why they return. Now, I think these 7 reasons kind of summarize exactly what I've been hearing from a lot of players and my own kind of personal list in this regards. But if you guys feel like there's an 8th out there, you can let me know in the comments, or you can let me know on Discord, or you can let me know on Twitter. Either way, like if you don't feel comfortable publicly commenting, you can always directly message me as well your thoughts on this video itself. So those are the 7 reasons why I think now is a good time to return to the game. But now let's transition into the final part of this video, the reasons to stay away. Number 1, the game is still in development. This kind of goes hand in hand with my number 4 reason to return, but this is kind of the opposite side if you're a little bit different. MMORPGs take around 3 years to really fully come into their own. Now we're still on year 1 of the game. So if you're looking for a fully fleshed out experience with all these things to do, you might be actually better off waiting another 2 years. And you can, come back to this channel if you're curious in a couple of years, and I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date on what's all changed in the long run. Now, also number 2, bugs. Yes, they still exist. Bugs are in the game and they are getting fixed, but they do suck whenever they hit, especially like if we get a dupe bug. Now, AGS has gone and worked to clean up the impact on the economy from all these bugs. It takes some time, but they do get that work done, and it sucks. I'm not gonna lie about it. There's no positive spin to that, other than that it ends up wasting their time because they got to go put that work in. But they've been putting things behind the scenes in terms of that, and players who dupe, especially maliciously, have been banned. But note, bugs still exist in the game. A lot of them have been fixed, but I'm sure, and I can state this probably as a fact, we'll see more bugs in the future, and it's unfortunate. So if you don't like bugs in your games, well, you're going to probably have to wait a little bit, at least for now, to stay away. And number 3, the third reason why you should stay away, we still don't know. And what that means is that, for me, we don't actually know what their battle pass is going to look like. So let's talk about monetization for a little bit. There was a huge hubbub about New World's monetization. A bunch of videos were made by a bunch of people, and we'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to sit here and try and attack anybody. But note that that was a big fear. We don't know what we don't know. And when it comes to monetization, they talked about they're going to bring in a battle pass. Now, they've been very upfront and open about this. Problem is that upfront and openness can get spun, right? So in my mind, what I would tell you is the thing is that if you're worried about a battle pass in an MMORPG, wait, stay away. Like, there's no reason to sit here and get frustrated because we can assume, because that's the risk, right? Like for me, I actually don't have an issue with a battle pass in an MMORPG if that battle pass doesn't expire. So the feedback that I've provided to them specifically on this topic is twofold. A, that's fine. Just don't let it expire. You can even incentivize, like through, like you could say, like, let's say normal leveling for a battle pass is expected to take, 60 days out of 90 in a season. And then after that, like, the battle pass, is no longer the current one, you could say that it would take 120 days to level up a previous battle pass. Like, that doesn't bother me specifically, because I think the idea of battle passes going away, that artificial FOMO, that fear of missing out, that's what that means, is not healthy for a game. I don't need that in New World. I think that would actually directly contradict my number 7 reason to return. So if they're able to implement a system like that, where like you can incentivize, the current season is the exciting thing that gets people hyped in, that gets people talking about the game, that gets people talking about the season that is brought in. But it's at the same time, like, don't sit here and cut your legs out, off from under you for previous seasons, because somebody will start in year 2 or year 3. And it'd be really, you could actually sell the entire previous season passes for them to quote unquote grind on. If they choose. It just doesn't have to be as efficient, or it could be just as efficient. Honestly, at the end of the day, I don't care. So the number 3 in this regards, that's like when it gets into the monetization, that's a critical conversation. But the third, again, the idea is that we don't know what we don't know. Amazon's still earning our trust. I still think they have a long ways to go, but I think they're doing all the right things. It's just a function of time and resources and continuing to do the hard work, because within gaming, trust takes a long time. I remember when Microsoft first stepped into the scene. I remember when, like, everybody first steps into the scene, gamers are typically hesitant to accept the new blood because we don't have a kind of a history. We don't have any nostalgia. We don't have any, like, hey, you haven't done anything for us. You kind of have an initiation period. And I would think, especially with Amazon putting out MMORPGs, that initiation period, it's a 2 to 3 year process at a minimum. For some people, it's going to be even longer than that, but that's just going to be what it is. Hopefully this video is worth your time. I know it's a little bit longer than I actually intended or thought it would be, but those are 7 reasons why you should turn or return, not just turn, and 3 reasons to stay away. If you guys have any thoughts about anything I shared today, sound off below. You can always, again, reach out to me privately if you don't feel like sharing publicly. It's all good. I'm always welcome to have great conversations around games with you guys. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in my next video. But until then, take care. With the new 3v3 with the new 3v with the new 3v3 can't with the new 3v3 PvP arenas, I really struggled with that one. I've edited